Hi everyone and welcome to the What If League. Today I am doing a new experiment called What if Arsène Wenger was sacked by the Arsenal board of directors and instead they hired a new manager, which I decided to be Thomas Tuchel. The reason I went for Thomas Tuchel is because of the many transfer rumors linking his name with the Arsenal football team if Arsène Wenger resigned or was sacked, which hasn't happened in reality, as you all know. But on the other hand, I see that a lot of the fans of the Gunners are very disappointed with the sale of Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United, which brought in the other direction Henrik Mkhitaryan. And this actually triggered me to create this experiment and see what would happen in such a hypothetical scenario. Let me know what you think about my selection of Thomas Tuchel. Whether there was a more appropriate manager that maybe I could have put at the helm of Arsenal. I was thinking about Carlo Ancelotti, but then again, Ancelotti's philosophy and management style for me does not really suit the Arsenal team and their playing philosophy. So that's why I decided to take the ex-Borussia Dortmund manager, who is a very flamboyant young manager, I would say, and could give that spark into the stagnating Arsenal team. Now, getting on with the experiment, at the moment it is the 22nd of January 2018, and the transfers of Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United and Henrik Mkhitaryan to Arsenal had already been reflected in the game. So I am going to fast forward until the end of this season to see how did Tuchel cope with the challenge and whether there was any improvement in the standings. At this point in time, Arsenal are sixth in the league with 42 points, three behind fifth place Tottenham and five behind Liverpool. So we are going to see what happens in the end of the season and if there is any improvement. Okay, now that I have fast forward until the 2nd of June 2018, this is just a few days after the Champions League final, and the English Premier League has also ended. We can see that Arsenal have finished fifth on level with Liverpool 77 points each, but Liverpool have a better goal difference, which means that they qualify for the Champions League. Thomas Tuchel apparently did not manage to bring Champions League football to Arsenal in his first season, which is probably not a big deal considering that when he took charge of the team, they were sixth behind Tottenham, and you can see that here they're 7 points above them, which is a very good performance. Before we switch and see what happened with Arsenal, I just want to quickly see what are the main leaders here in the player stats. We can see that there are no Arsenal players at all, which is not surprising considering they're fifth. And now I want to quickly check what is happening with Arsenal, whether they made any transfers in the first days of Thomas Tuchel. Keep in mind that he joined Arsenal on the 22nd of January, which means that he had less than 10 days for any potential transfers in the January transfer window. Before I switch to the Arsenal screen, I just wanted to show you that the result of the Swansea-Liverpool game, which was played on the 22nd of January and in reality ended 1-0 for Swansea, in the game ended 2-0, so this did not really change the overall end result of this experiment for Arsenal and Liverpool. Now let's go to the Arsenal page. Their captain and vice captain are still Mertesacker and Koscielny, and their key player is now Laurent Koscielny. Let's see their tactic screen before we move to the transfers. In the tactic screen, we see that Tuchel is playing Giroud up front with Lacazette as a right winger, with Nelson. Reece Nelson is playing as a left winger, Mkhitaryan in the number 10 role, Xhaka and Elneny in the center midfield positions, with Kolasinac, Mustafi, Koscielny and Bellerin the back four, just in front of Petr Cech, the trusted goalkeeper. So there aren't really a lot of surprises here. The only surprise for me, at least, is that Mesut Özil is not in the starting team. Although I see he played 14 Premier League games, which means that he was a starter. It's just that in this final screen he's not here. And now let's move to the transfers and see what happened there. As you can see, there were no transfers made by Thomas Tuchel, neither incoming or outgoing, so he restrained himself from buying or selling anyone, probably to assess his squad. I do expect, however, that the Gunners are going to be active in the transfer market in the summer, and we're going to see that in a few seconds or minutes. Now, before I quickly go to that screen, I just want to have another view at the team and who is the top performer at that team with Thomas Tuchel at their helm. So let me just quickly go to the selection info and we can order everybody by average rating. So we can see that Per Mertesacker is the top performer, 7.48 average rating, not too shy, not too shabby as well. So Alexander Lacazette, very, very good performance, 15 goals, 6 assists. Olivier Giroud also 12 goals, so quite the good performance for the strikers of the team. Henrik Mkhitaryan, the newcomer, has 9 goals and 5 assists with a 7.17 average rating, which is not bad at all for him. Let me just quickly see here. So he managed to play 32 goals overall for the club in this period. He's not cup tight in the European competitions. As you know, Arsenal is playing in the Europa League, while for Manchester United, he played in the Champions League. And according to the UEFA rules, this is not a problem. He is able to play in the other European competition. Before going forward 3 more years into the future, as per tradition in my experiments, I want to also have a quick look with what happened with Alexis Sanchez and his transfer to Manchester United. So let me just put his career stats here. We can see that he managed to get an average rating of 7.39, which is higher than Mkhitaryan's, but not as high as I would say a potential star player. 3 goals, 4 assists, and 2 Player of the Match awards. It's not bad at all. Overall, he had 10 assists against his name with 9 goals, and we can see that majority of his impact is in the Champions League, which is not bad. An average rating of 7.78 in the Champions League. This is great performance from the Chilean international in his new team. Manchester United, on the other hand, finished second, 11 points behind Manchester City, so not a big surprise there. The only thing that's surprising to me is that they are 5 points above Chelsea, which is much more than what we see in reality in January. Now I'm going to fast forward 3 more seasons into the future until the end of season 2020-21 and see what was the effect of Tuchel's management at the North London club. All right, here we are, 2nd of June 2021, and as you remember, Manchester City were the champions. Next season, Manchester United were crowned champions with 91 points, 8 above Arsenal, who have been placed second and are back in the Champions League. So this is first positive after on Thomas Tuchel's reign at the Gunners. Third season, Manchester United were champions again, only 1 point more than second placed Arsenal. So this is an even better performance and a very close battle for the title. Let's see what happened in the last season. Arsenal are the new champions of England with 85 points, which is on par with Manchester City, but they do have 11 goals better goal difference. So we can see that Thomas Tuchel had an almost immediate impact in the first season. He managed to climb above Tottenham into fifth place. Then second and third season, he managed to be to get to Arsenal to be runners up. And in his third full season, they are the champions. So very, very positive impact on of Thomas Tuchel's management in at Arsenal. Now let's check their team. We can see that their key player is Gelson Martins, which means that we probably have a lot of interesting transfers. Let's get to the transfer screen immediately. First season, as I already mentioned, no transfers. Then in the next season, Gelson Martins has been bought from Sporting Lisbon for £53 million. On the outgoing screen, we can see that Mathieu Debuchy has finally left the club, this time in the direction to CSK Moscow. We have Chuba Akpom, who has left for Reading, Joe Campbell for the Tigres. I think this is a Mexican team. And Emiliano Martinez, one of the reserve goalkeepers, has left for West Ham. Then in the next season, Lukas Klostermann has been purchased from Red Bull Leipzig, as well as Mitchell Weiser from Borussia Dortmund. Both are German players from the German Bundesliga. On the other side, we can see Mohamed Elneny, the battling midfielder, has been sold to Spartak Moscow. Hector Bellerin has been sold to Barcelona. His his first career team, for the staggering sum of £78 million. Lucas has also been sold to Real Sociedad. Lucas is Lucas Perez. This is the striker that did not really manage to break into Arsenal's team. Apparently, Tuchel also did not value him too highly. Rob Holding has been sold to the Wolverhampton team for a very small sum of 2.2 million pounds. Takuma Asano, who I'm not even familiar with, this is probably a player that has been, yeah, he has been on loan at Stuttgart and did not really play for Arsenal in the Premier League, so that's why I do not know him. Let's see the transfers in the last season. Loris Karius from Leicester. So Loris Karius went from Liverpool to Leicester and then to Arsenal. And this season, Joao Felix from Benfica has been purchased for a very, very large sum, as well as Frank Kessie. Frank Kessie is a great battling midfielder, so he's probably here to replace Mohamed Elneny. On the other side, we see that there are no major transfers. Only Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who did not manage to develop very well, has been sold out to Cardiff. Moving on to the tactics screen, let's see what do we have here. Not a lot of surprises. Henrik Mkhitaryan has now dropped further down the pitch and is playing in the center of the field. Other than that, we have Callum Chambers, who is now now in the center of defense, and Mitchell Weiser is the right fullback with Karius playing in goal, replacing Petr Cech, who has most probably retired at this point. As previously, I want to have a look at Alexis Sanchez and his performance at Manchester United. So here, let's go to his stats. We can see 7.73, 75, and 61 in the last 3 seasons. So very, very good performance by the Chilean in his new team. This is not surprising. Alexis Sanchez is a top player, and apparently he's showing that in his Manchester United career as well. Let's have a look at Henrik Mkhitaryan too. We see he has been on and off, average rating around 7.0, which is not bad, but also not very impressive, I would say. Before I move on to the European competitions, I want to have a look at the cup competitions in England. And first in line is the League Cup. In the very first season, it was won by Arsenal. So Thomas Tuchel managed to win a trophy in his very first season at Arsenal. He won the League Cup. Manchester City won it the season after, before Chelsea and Manchester United won it in the last 2 seasons. Now let's also have a look at the FA Cup and see who won it there. Crystal Palace, a big surprise. Crystal Palace have won the first FA Cup in this experiment. They have been followed by Liverpool, Manchester United, and Tottenham. Tottenham are currently the defending champions of the FA Cup. Next in line are the European competitions, and we're starting with the minor competition, the Europa League. In the first season, Borussia Dortmund, which is Thomas Tuchel's previous team, have been the champions after defeating AC Milan in the final. Dortmund qualified for that final after defeating Athletic Bilbao, Porto, and Red Bull Leipzig on their way. We can see that Arsenal, with Thomas Tuchel at their helm, managed to get past Başakşehir in the second knockout round, as well as Real Sociedad in the quarterfinals, after bowing to Milan in the semis. So very impressive performance by Arsenal, although they did not manage to qualify for the final. In the second season, however, this is after they finished fifth in the league. They have been crowned champions in the Europa League after defeating Roma in the final 2-0. Very impressive. So another trophy for Thomas Tuchel and a European trophy. In fact, they also defeated Sevilla, Galatasaray, and Porto on their way to reach this stage. In the third season, Atletico Madrid were champions of the Europa League after they defeated Bayer Leverkusen on penalties after a goalless draw in regular time. Atletico qualified for that game after defeating Napoli, Tottenham, and Borussia Mönchengladbach. In the final season, here Manchester City have won after extra time against Milan. So for Milan, those are 2 losses in the final for 4 years. That's quite unfortunate for them. City qualified after getting through an all-English semi-final battle with West Ham. They also defeated Sporting Lisbon and Athletic Bilbao on their way to this trophy. Moving one tier up to the Champions League, we can see that Alexis Sanchez managed to win the Champions League on the first time asking with the Red Devils. They were victorious in the final against Atletico Madrid 2-1. They also defeated Bayern Munich, Napoli, and the German Hoffenheim on their way to the final. In the second season, Real Madrid won the title after penalties against Paris Saint-Germain. Real Madrid also defeated Inter Milan, Manchester City, and Bayer Leverkusen on their way to this trophy-winning campaign in the Champions League. In the third season, Arsenal qualified for the final of the Champions League, but unfortunately for them, they lost after extra time against Barcelona 3-2. They managed to defeat Manchester United in the semis on away goals 2-2. On away goals as well, they defeated Monaco in the quarters, this time 3-3. And in the first knockout round, they beat Real Madrid 4-2. So this was a very impressive season by the Gunners, and very heartbreaking in the end when they lost against Barcelona, which was similar game, I guess, compared to the 2008 final, which they lost in reality. In the final season, Paris Saint-Germain were winners of the Champions League after defeating Liverpool. The Liverpool team has qualified to the final here, but they lost to the Parisians 3-1. PSG managed to beat Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, and Borussia Dortmund on their way to this historical trophy for them. The last thing that I want to check right now is the Ballon d'Or awards to see who have won them in the past few years, and we can see that Lionel Messi has been dominant in this department, winning all 3 years. So not really a lot of surprises there. We can see Neymar second place, Cristiano Ronaldo even at 35 years of age, he's still third place here. The previous year he was second. And in 2018, apparently he did not manage to play particularly well to be in the first three of the Ballon d'Or awards. With that, I think we can finish this video. I am going to make part 2 where I'm going to focus on the next 3 years. So please make sure you subscribe for my channel to receive notifications when new videos are uploaded. In the meantime, please like this video, and also you can check out my social media in the description. If you guys want to see a particular experiment play out or have any comments on what you have seen, please let me know in the comments. I'll be very happy to discuss with you. Other than that, I think that's all. So thank you everybody for watching. Until the next time. Bye.